Welcome to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition, featuring the top 8 players around the world. With 10,000 in prize money and regional pride on the line, who will go home the Hearthstone champion? This is Fight Night! Hey guys, welcome back to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition. It's Season 3, and last time we had a blast from the past. Strife and Nimsh faced off once again, but this time, Nimsh won 3-0. Now we found out the next player from Liquid Value will be Trump, but we don't know who he's going to be playing yet from Team DogeHouse. As you get prepared to find out, take a look at some of yesterday's highlights.
I just stopped the Nimsh last time. Strife is hands down the best player the other team has.
Nimsh takes game number 1. Now he's going to take him down with the doggies.
With the BM
lead.
finish.
Yeah. GG's.
Well, it's enough to win.
Yeah. Let's meet our players. From Team Liquid Value, Kong Strifegro Shu. The team captain, Kevin Mongdong. The newcomer, Case Koyuki Kiyanaga. And you voted for the mayor of Value Town once again, Jeffrey Trump Shi. From Team DogeHouse, Marcin Nimsh Filipovich. Yana Savij Mikonin. The team captain, Dan Artosis Stemkoski. And the last doggy, but certainly not the least, Jan Ek0p Ballas.
So here are the rules for Fight Night Hearthstone Edition. 8 players form 2 teams and battle it out 4v4. The 2 team captains spin the Heartless ESGN wheel, which will determine the matchups. Now the battle begins. In order to win, the player has to beat all 3 of his rivals' decks. After the players have battled solo, it's time for the final ace match. All 4 players on each team unite in a grand showdown to find out who is the strongest. Ultimately, the stakes are high. Teams can win as much as 5,000 for crushing their opponents. If one team manages to go even further and clean sweep their opponents, the winners will receive a huge bonus of 5,000 on top.
Welcome back to the wheel. We're ready to find out who Trump will be facing off. Monk from Liquid Value, the captain, will be spinning. Monk, before we go for the spin, I want to ask you, is there any person that you feel like Trump will be facing off and that you guys want to happen?
Well, we know that Ek0p and Trump have a little bit of a rivalry, and normally I would say friendly rivalry, but I'm not sure that's the situation in this case.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to spin, try to hit Ek0p, and we'll hopefully we'll get a grudge match.
All right, well, here we go. Let's find out. It might happen. Fate has decided. It's Trump versus Ek0p. Ask and you shall receive.
I am Jeffrey Shi. I am known better as Trump, and I play for Team Liquid Value.
My name is Jan Paulis, I'm also known as Ek0p, and I'm playing for Team DogeHouse.
The biggest strength, we have a lot of very talented members on our team planning, deck building, strategizing, council, chat, whatnot.
Oh, we feel pretty confident. Back at home, Nick's built some pretty sick decks for us, and it's gonna be good.
I've heard that Ek0p said some very hurtful and mean things to me last time around. I hope to crush him to the ground.
I respect Trump more now. However, I still think he's the weak link on their team. However, he's still a very good player, don't get me wrong. Trump is still a force to be reckoned with, even if it's the weakest force.
Hey guys, I'm Artosis alongside Ek0p, kind of a little rival of mine, who of course dropped out so that we could be tied.
I don't mind as
for all
much.
time.
I won the last one, it's fine.
Yeah,
I retired. GG no re.
That's what I figured, but
Yep.
Here we are, and we have a very exciting little rivalry match coming up in Trump against Ek0p. But first, let's talk just a little bit about Strifegro against Nimsh.
Well, It was a pretty cool match. I didn't expect the Hunter to sweep, certainly.
Yeah.
But sometimes the aggro gets a little out of control, as we've seen in the past.
And while Nimsh normally, he doesn't like to play more than one deck unless he's losing, so it went pretty well.
Typically the case.
Yeah, that's for sure, for him at least. Very nice start for DogeHouse. And bringing up Ek0p against Trump, what do you think about that match?
Well, the pressure's on Trump. I mean, it's important to get a point on the board to deny that clean sweep bonus. So Trump hopefully is channeling his confidence today to really show him who's the top dog of the Hearthstone here.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a rivalry. Ek0p has stated before that he doesn't really respect Trump's play as much. What do you think about Trump's play?
I think Trump plays pretty well when it comes to constructed. Really knowing what's going on with the meta game and adapting to it is really the big part. And because it's a team tournament, because there's so much involved, you're getting so much feedback from so many players. It's really a team versus team. And I think Trump's got the game. He can make the plays required for the decks.
All right. Well, I'm pretty excited to get into this game, but first, let's jump to a quick commercial break.
We'll be right back with Fight Night. We hope you prepared for more Fight Night.
Hearthstone is a 1v1 digital card game developed by Blizzard Entertainment, the company behind famous franchises such as StarCraft, Diablo, and the Warcraft series. Currently, in the Hearthstone beta, you have the choice between 9 hero classes akin to their Warcraft counterparts: Warrior, Shaman, Rogue, Paladin, Hunter, Druid, Warlock, Mage, and Priest. Each class has its own unique set of cards that you can choose to customize, as well as a unique hero power that you can use once per turn. Each player chooses 30 cards before the match. This format is often called constructed and is considered the primary form of competition in any collectible card game. Hearthstone is turn-based. Both players take separate turns to play their cards. You can play as many cards as you want, but be careful not to run out and be completely hopeless. The first person to have their opponent hit 0 health is declared the winner. With over 450 cards currently in the beta alone, Hearthstone offers an array of opportunities to build neat strategies and deck themes oriented around various playstyles. Similar to other strategy games, there is no one deck to rule them all. It comes down to who prepares the best and who gets the draws.
All right, so we missed the first few turns due to some difficulties here, but the matchup seems to be underway. We have the Druid with the coin, which is actually a pretty big positive for the Druid, just so the Warlock doesn't have it.
Yeah, it's funny you say we missed the first couple turns, but the first couple turns I think in this matchup are normally going to be mostly hero power. You're going to want to draw a lot of cards with that Warlock, and as far as the Druid goes, I mean,
Innervate Chillwind.
That is a nice turn too. I have to hand it to him.
Pretty good stuff. You can't kill it with one card, but we have the double Soulfire, perhaps.
That's about the worst thing that could ever happen. I'm pretty sure we're just going to see Ancient Watcher pass here, so that he can go ahead and taunt it up.
I think we might just see a hero power.
Huh. Well,
yeah, he's thinking about
Ancient Watcher. There you have it. I mean, I think he's a little bit afraid of taking 2 or 3 swings from this Chillwind Yeti. So by taunting that up, making it a little bit bigger, he can at least weather the storm.
Yeah, I feel he can afford to take some damage though in this matchup. I don't think it's that threatening.
Well,
I feel like it's those big creatures when you get them out. With the Druid, you just have no answers.
I have to agree with you there, man. And that's why
rushing into either giant, is really a big deal.
Well, as of right now, he's kind of secured the board, but doesn't really have that big, thick hand that you're talking about that helps you especially get those mountain giants out. Now, on Trump's side, he has a couple decisions to make here. At 4 mana, he still has the coin, so definitely could do something like a Starfall and get through these minions.
I don't know. I think what I would do is I'd probably Wrath Hero Power attack with the Harvest Golem to the 5/6 and kill the Argus. Just clean up the board, and you're still with 2 cards left on your board.
Yeah.
And the number of creatures is pretty important because while there is the possible Hellfire Shadowflame thing, usually that's not going to happen on just 2.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. And the thing is, we do know that there's Soulfires in his opponent's hand here, so EK0p will probably clear out that Chillwind Yeti.
Right.
But then the game is going to kind of slow down a little bit and normalize. But, oh, wow. Okay. So...
Sylvanas Pass.
Yeah, Sylvanas Pass. So I guess that means he wants to allow Sylvanas to die next turn? What else would that be for?
I'm not sure. I guess he likes what EK0p has.
Yeah, well, you know what he might do is utilize Starfire plus... Starfire plus...
You mean Starfall?
Yeah, Starfall. And take out the Taunter and then maybe just start hitting for a lot of attack damage against the Warlock, but that would enable the Molten Giants, and I don't think that Trump can really finish quick enough to make that pay off.
Yeah, we know that his deck is very control-based just because he doesn't have those Druid of the Claws. The Druid of the Claws really add to the burst of the deck with the charge. And he's just playing, you play a creature and then next turn you attack with it type of play. It's going to be pretty standard.
It's pretty vanilla, actually, what we're expecting to see here.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do here as EK0p? Because I don't see like a lot of really exciting plays for me.
Well, you certainly need the Defender of Argus alive, just so it's an option for Sylvanas to mind control if he does suicide it. I don't think he's gonna suicide it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that would be so weird. Because then you get either a 2/3, a 3/3, or a 5/1 taunt. It's like, what are these options exactly for Trump?
Right.
Well, the Tink comes out, not the worst card to be seeing. Obviously going to come in handy against the Warlock later on. Definitely not something he wants to use yet, though. And I think your original idea is probably the best here.
Which one, the Wrath play?
Yeah, like either do the Wrath play or use the Starfall. Just get rid of this Taunter. I can't see him sacrificing Sylvanas now. Like, these targets are not worthwhile.
I mean, whatever comes of this, we know that EK0p has the Hellfire now. He drew it last turn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever happens is going to end well for EK0p.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's take a look here. He's actually going to go ahead and use Wrath for the 1 damage to draw a card.
And suicide Sylvanas.
I guess so. I guess he really wants a 2/3 or a 3/3. And definitely this is going to give him a much stronger board position.
Because if he does it this way, he's probably going to attack with a Harvest Golem here. He's going to keep 2 creatures from a Hellfire. You know what? That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
So maybe he did think about playing around that more than we did, at least.
Yeah, it definitely could be. His play is kind of reminding me of maybe how StrifeCro might play a situation like this, because he's just battling for this board control, and he has it very strongly here. And as you said, even if that Hellfire comes down, there's still going to be 2 minions left on board for Trump.
Well, right now, EK0p's still fishing for those huge cards that the deck is built around. So he is actually going to take pretty significant damage. I think he's probably going to make it to 9 in Alistraza himself if he really needs to, though.
I'm looking at this. I don't want to see I don't want to see the Siphon Soul. That's what I was going to say. Using Siphon Soul on a Chillwind Yeti is like Trump is going to just do a little dance in his pants, because that would be like what a travesty to have to do that.
Man. I feel with this deck, it has such hard swings. You can afford to make a play like that. And I think that's what he's thinking about right now.
Yeah. Of course, there is the possibility of Ancient Watcher and taunting it up with Defender, but that could be a little bit scary. And he is actually going to go ahead and take out this Chillwind Yeti. So that's one big removal spell gone that Trump is going to have to keep track of.
Yeah, I feel it's pretty fair, though. I mean, you take the game, and instead of dying in like 3 turns, you're dying in 4 or 5.
Yeah, you're basically not going to die now at this point, I would say. But I got to say, I think that Trump, so far, definitely in a very good position.
Oh, that was an excellent draw with the big game. So he can actually afford to face a giant now. And considering EK0p, just drew a giant.
Perfect.
It's going to be a bit rough, I feel.
Yeah, this is actually looking better and better for Trump at the moment. Having really both Tink and the BGH in hand, that's really solid. And that's, these are the cards that I expected to see from everyone here. A lot of big game hunters, maybe some Black Knights again, definitely Tink Masters, because with that new patch, Warlock feels so nice.
That's the card you want to see right now. Druid invests so much in building the board, and you get Shadow Flame, you just clean it up instantly. So he goes for the Hellfire, take a little bit of damage, take a little bit less next turn. Oh, Soulfire is a little ambitious, I feel, but I guess he really just doesn't want to take damage.
Ooh,
that was rough.
The Shadow Flame goes. That's
at least it
painful.
wasn't Elistraza, though. I think he's going to need that in a few turns.
Definitely, I would say. Now, we actually do have 2 Shadow Flames in this deck, so...
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
I guess I missed it.
Kind of like, it's something that you wouldn't expect, but it's a pretty darn good card right now, so...
The deck looks pretty standard, actually, except for just that.
Yeah, that's really the only thing that's kind of different.
And Leroy. Leroy's a little bit off as well, in my opinion.
A little bit more reach in there. Why not, right?
Well, it's another card to Shadow Flame.
Yeah, that's Leroy Shadow Flame is a sick turn, as you well know. Well, let's take a look here. Trump actually has quite a few cards in hand that he can use here. I mean, the Nat Pagel, probably something's going to want to have come down. Nat Pagel plus Harvest Golem plus Hero Power, I think, would be pretty much the optimal turn.
I think that's what I would do. I mean, the only thought would be if you want to drop the Wild Pyro. There's really nothing to do 1 damage just casually to.
Yeah.
So I think you might as well.
Yeah, you definitely could do that, but I do want to see that Nat Pagel out this turn. He may as well start trying to draw some cards off of that.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the Nat Pagel and the Harvest Golem is just a given.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think that is probably what he's going to end up doing here. And again, his board position continues to grow. He's got that Harvest Golem that lives through basically anything.
The thing is, if I was Trump right now, I'm like, I got the big game. I just need to do a little bit more damage. My opponent's, you know, he's soul fired. It looks like he's playing really defensively. So that's why. Oh no, that's not the button you want to press, and he just pressed it.
Well,
there goes 2 damage.
It looks like he's trying to avoid free giants this turn.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, what else could that be?
But he's got the big game. I feel you'd want to welcome a free giant.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he played the Wild Pyro, which means he'd want to push for more damage. He can't kill him next turn anyway.
I would have attacked personally, but it has to be that he was like, okay, I don't want 2 giants to come out. Maybe he thought 2 Moltens will come out, and who knows? Well, still, the Molten Giant can be played. He'd probably want to life tap first. There'd be no reason not to. And he does have the Argus as well as Sun Fury, so he could do something like Sun Fury, Ancient, and the Molten this turn, right?
No, that would
2, 4, 6, yeah. Oh wait, no. He's 1 mana short of that. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, he could always Soulfire himself. How about that?
Well, you'd have to hope that Soulfire doesn't remove one of the cards you want to play. I don't think that's among the options.
No, he's probably going to skip that one.
I'm not that good with this deck.
Look,
but, you know.
This isn't one of your normals.
No, I wouldn't have thought of that. You hadn't brought it up.
Well, it looks like he's thinking about life tapping here. Of course, that board, not the scariest board over there, but still, that's 5 damage incoming, and he doesn't know, for instance, that there are no Druids of the Claw.
Pretty decent draw. No,
he could Hellfire
hinting,
plus...
He's hinting here.
Yeah, plus the Giant.
It's a free one.
Yeah, but is that worth it to get rid of the Pyromancer? Should he save that more, do you think?
Personally, I don't like being at 9 life against the Druid.
Yeah.
Many possibilities.
Against 8 mana with the possibility of Innervate, 9 life. And he still has the 2/1 creature, so you're at 7 life.
Yeah, that's getting awfully low, and you never know, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's in this deck. This is the first Druid they've seen from this. Well, I guess it's not actually the first, but we didn't get to see enough cards of the other Druid.
He's essentially at 7 life anyway, but if he can taunt up the Giant, at least from his perspective, he can see the mitigation of some damage.
Well, just thinking about maybe helping with the damage a little bit.
This deck really has, like, you know, many different ways you could play each turn.
Yeah, and that does definitely make it very exciting. But the thing is, if I'm Trump here, oh, wow. Okay, well, at least he got the Watcher out of there. That's the card he cares least about, for sure, in that hand. But there's a big game hunter here, and this is going to just make Ek0p very sad. This is going to be a gigantic turn for Trump.
Well, the thing is, if you big game, you don't really have any other play, which is a bit of a problem.
Do you think he should go for like a Karn or something instead?
The problem, I believe, I don't know if he's running it. I don't know if he has Faceless. He doesn't.
No.
But I think most of these decks do run Faceless. So what may be going through Trump's mind is, you know, I can probably take 8 damage, but I don't know if I want to deal with 2 of them next turn.
Yeah,
because if he had 2 of them, he would have played both of them this turn.
Yeah. Yeah, so that brings him down to that faceless. And as you said, this deck is very standard so far, and he's only seen the standard cards. He hasn't seen that there's 2 Shadow Flames. He hasn't seen a Leroy Jenkins.
Exactly.
So that would stand to reason that he could be thinking about that right now.
But I think in general, playing the Kieran is fair. Oh, he just wants to kill it with spells, which...
Not bad.
Now that I think about it, it's probably the best choice because if you use the big game, you can't really do anything else anyway. So you might as well saturate all of your mana.
And, you know, some of those spells not going to be as useful anyways going forward.
Hegel's delivering right now.
Yeah. Well, Mortal Coil, that's going to deliver a bit.
Well, he couldn't do 9 damage, so I don't think he has to Alistraza this turn.
I bring life.
But
all right,
Alistraza this turn.
Heals himself. Okay.
Put another threat on the board.
I'm trying to think, if there was any way for 9 damage to actually come into him next turn. I don't think so, but I think he just kind of wanted the Alistraza out.
Now you can do the big game Karen play. So that's a very good setup.
Sick.
Very good setup from Trump.
That is a sick turn right there.
Hegel delivers again. I got a root for Trump. I know you got your team, but Trump's got no representation here, so you know. I'm happy with these fishes that are being caught.
Well, I'm glad for you. As I tell you, I thought that after this new patch, my Pagels were down to 25% again, but Trump's showing us that no, he's just picking up where mine is slacking. So finally
you're gonna Mortal Coil that thing anyway. You might as well do it first, see what you get. Not the best draw right now when you just soul-fired twice.
Well, okay, Siphon Soul.
I feel like you just do the Molten and the Defender.
Yeah, Molten Defender is pretty strong here. We do have a Tink Master over Spark in the hand of Trump right now, so that's definitely a possibility that...
Oh, it's a certainty.
Yeah, it's most likely a certainty, but we'll have to see what he draws. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think that's...
Well, that's game. He tinks the 9/9, or he silences it if he wants. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Hit for 8, swipe and claw. Yep. Good. Got it. That burst goes through.
That is going to be game number 1.
Yep. I didn't quite notice the swipe draw.
Yeah, that was kind of below my recognition as well. So Ek0p falling to the Druid deck of Trump, and that's actually kind of problematic for him because, as we were talking about, normally the Warlock deck is going to do well.
Yeah, I think it does well, but I don't think it's one of those crushing matches. Like, you know, maybe it's one of those 60-65 situations.
Yeah.
So, you know, Trump actually played really well. He had the pivotal turn was the setup where he decided to use the spells rather than the big game. And you know, we saw the problem, but he saw the solution.
Yeah.
And it really shows that he has had some experience with this deck, so it's pretty good play, and I think that was really the big turnaround.
All right, so before we get into game number 2, let's go ahead, cut to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Fight Night. Welcome back to Fight Night.
All right, so Ek0p has chosen to use his Shaman deck. What do you think about this choice, Grip?
Well, he's going between Shaman and Druid. I guess he wants to avoid the mirror, or either he thinks the Shaman has the better shot. Looking at the deck, I mean, in general, I think Shaman has a pretty good shot just because you got the hexes for the big cards, and you got, you know, the little annoying things for the rest. But it's kind of hard to put it because Trump didn't really reveal that much of his deck that round. He didn't really reveal the fact that he does actually have a few big cards, but at the same time, having 2 Earth Shocks in the Shaman without having too great of a target, that's maybe kind of weird.
I have to agree with you. He didn't get to see completely what was in that deck, but really, what can he Earthshock in here that's worthwhile? I guess Nat Pagel, I guess the Blood Mage Thalnos, perhaps a Karn Bloodhoof or Sylvanas, but I mean, that's not what the Earthshock is really meant for.
The Earthshock is like, that's a nice Twilight Drake. I got a card for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even a Loot Hoarder, or
exactly
in dire situations a Leper Gnome, it's going to be.
Coin Pagel though, that's a pretty big start.
Yeah.
And a fish.
And you know what? When you coin out a Pagel against Druid, it takes them so long to kill it. It's so sad. And the thing is, he can start making totems. He might get a healing totem, which is going to make it even slower.
Well, certainly a great start for Ek0p here.
Yeah, it's so strong, especially when you
whatever
draw it
happens this game, it's gonna take it into the late game.
Yeah.
And having that card advantage allows you to be much more wasteful with what you have.
And you know, Shaman decks right now, very powerful, one of the best classes, I would say. I'm not sure that you agree with that. It's one of the better classes after the certain patch.
Certainly it seems that way. A lot of people are bringing in those Twilight Drakes, and the Shamans just have the crushing Earthshock, and I feel that makes such a big difference from what I've seen.
Well, let's see here. He does have an Earthshock in hand, so that might be something that he wants to use, but no, looks like he wants to go after Feral Spirit.
Go for the protection.
As long as he keeps that Peg alive, man, every single card he draws is a gigantic advantage in control versus control.
You just gain another one.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. Well, all right, so on Trump's side here.
This is absolutely a swipe the way I see it. You swipe the Peggle, you kill the 1/1, you kill the Frost Wolf with a Harvest Golem. The Harvest Golem survives, and if the other one wants to attack into it, it's dead. So this is just the easiest swipe
Especially
ever.
with 2 swipes in hand, there's like literally nothing else that makes any sense. So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll end up seeing that in just a second. I'm sure he's just doing the math out and making sure that this is the best play, but you look at his hand, it's like very reactive cards. And
I mean, I just don't see what you'd innervate. Like a third of the hand is swipe.
Yeah.
And then you can silence something.
A third of the hand is swipe. I love it. I'm gonna wait until there's a 3-card hand and say something like that.
Oh.
Well, he might be using the innervate here then. Well, no, I mean, the innervate still wouldn't do anything. I guess he's just gonna leave the Peggle. Ouch. You watch, that Peggle's gonna draw another card, or something's gonna happen here. He's gonna Earthshock the Golem, that's for sure. And watch.
Now we're gonna draw some more.
He is, isn't he? Oh God, that's brutal. Oh my God.
There's another one.
That's 7 cards in hand right now. That's so ridiculous.
Possibly Trump did that so he could set up the play for the Keeper of the Grove next turn, but it's just not that good.
No, I don't even think Keeper of the Grove is the best play here.
I'm just trying to imagine the circumstance that he was seeing. Perhaps he just was hoping that he wasn't getting Earthshocked.
Yeah, well, if he didn't get Earthshocked, he probably looked at it and said, okay, no matter what, this Golem is going to eliminate this, unless, you know, somehow he draws. Well, I don't even know.
It's looking like the plan is unfolding itself with the Keeper here.
Yeah.
You can't be happy about this play.
No, and that's like his whole turn too.
You might even innervate here, just to get more on the board, and he agrees. I think he's getting the Harvest Golem here. Yep.
Well, Harvest Golem does come out.
You're not at many cards, but I mean, we know he has a lot of card draw mechanics, and he just hasn't drawn into those trees yet.
Well, he's going to have to try to keep up somehow, because right now, look at that hand for Ek0p. That's so ridiculous. What is it? It's 8 cards right now?
Even the board right now, Trump can't really handle a 4/4 very easily.
No, just throw out his own 4/4 at the moment. He could run both of his minions into this 4/4, but is that something he wants to do?
That's like carnage.
That's carnage. Thing is, leaving the spell power can be very scary against a Shaman, man. There's a lot of AoE that they can have. He pops up a totem suddenly, and a
suddenly
lightning,
you have nothing left.
Yeah, lightning storm is pretty brutal. So,
Well, you can do a pretty easy fire elemental here, I feel, but
I think
other Karn just to get something out there that will stay alive to the next turn.
He has the lightning bolt as well with the spell power, so he could take out the Drake like that.
And still have 6 mana next turn, which is pretty important.
Yeah.
So if you do the lightning bolt, your other only real play is Argus or something.
Yeah, Karn. I don't think Argus is all that great right here, but Karn's pretty good. This is like it's not a bad play, I would say. Just getting Karn out on the board before you're in a bad spot really helps out.
Okay, drops the spell damage. Turns out to be the best play, as with the other swipe in hand. It's a decent draw.
Yeah, well, okay, so here we actually have a few different situations. Now, he has that Faceless Mana in hand, so that plus Tink Master is always really fun.
Well, it's really fun if you have 8 mana for it, though.
Yes. But right now, at only 7 mana. I mean,
I think it's Tink, and then if you get the 5/5, you're gonna lose some creatures.
You gonna take that coin flip right now? Could always put out his own Karn.
Yeah, but Shamans have Hex. I feel like you got to deal with what's out there.
But this is something we've actually been talking about on DogeHouse a lot, is when playing against Shaman, you have to bait out those hexes at some point, right? Because if you want to play some of your bigger stuff.
You really feel good about your Cairn getting hexed?
I don't feel good about anything getting hexed unless it costs like 4 mana or less.
Okay.
So it's not optimal, obviously, but those hexes have to come out eventually. These guys are going to go pretty low in their decks. Well, looks like Ek0p going to be able to start really clearing this board off now.
And get a totem. Probably hoping for healing. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not a bad one at all. It's going to make it hard to get rid of that Karn this turn.
Well, I don't think it was dying 2 times this turn.
Well, it's certainly not that. All right, well, 8 mana out at this point.
Now he has the option for the Tink play, but I mean, how good is it really now?
Yeah, especially with that extra damage on him. I'm not so sure.
What other options do you have? No, you don't have any other options. You just got to deal with it, hope to get lucky.
Ouch.
Yep.
Well, here we go. Let's see. Is he going to get a squirrel or is he going to get a devil sword? Oh, well, that's just sometimes how it happens.
That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. Everything going Ek0p's
There's no
way this
lightning
game.
Storm, but that fire elemental does some nice work here, I believe.
Fire. You think maybe a fire elemental plus attack with the devil sword into the.
Well, if you fire elemental, you have the lightning bolt. What would you lightning bolt?
Well, you could lightning bolt, but I feel like maybe a fire elemental into Karn, attack it with devil sword, attack the Tink Master.
Tink with the weapon, but what would you lightning bolt? I don't think there's anything on lightning bolt.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to do the
waste
golem,
on
but
the
that
golem.
doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't feel good. And especially when you're playing those 2 Earth Shocks, you have another one in the deck. It's like, well,
yeah,
that golem isn't.
I think you just float a mana here.
Probably.
I mean, if you do that and you draw a Rockbiter, you have some fun next turn, right? You get the Ek0p Rockbiter combo.
Yeah, Ek0p Rockbiter's pretty.
You really got to plan out these turns, you know, at least 1 ahead. I feel in these heavy control games.
Yeah, and especially when you're playing Shaman because of the overload mechanic.
Right.
You know, the mana is just so different in a deck like this. But I think he is going to go for this move. I don't really see anything else that gets me excited.
Well, he can fully kill the golem and force the trade. So attack the 2/3 with the 5/5 lightning bolt the remainder, and weapon in the 2/2, and then Cairn, whatever he attacks, he dies.
Yeah, that makes some sense. I think he is going to use the lightning bolt this turn. And the thing is, well, that'll only block him for 1 mana, which means he can Ek0p next turn if he needs to.
That's pretty interesting.
That's not what I was expecting for sure, but you know what? He's still playing around with his life total a little bit. He knows that there's not that much aggression in this Druid deck. He can sit at a pretty low life total and be fine as long as he has really powerful board control.
Didn't work last game.
No, that's actually right now. He can actually easily clear this board with that Pyromancer plus swipe and a claw.
Certainly.
And that's plenty of mana for all that. So, oops, it looks like this big board of Ek0p is going to be going away.
The thing is, I feel like with swipe and claw, you already saw a hex. You might be able to push with Cenarius. If you Cenarius with the 2 little trees, you might be able to finish, if not next turn, the turn after.
And you know, he can save the claw if he wants as well.
Yeah, you just attack with the golem.
Yeah. Or you could even hero power through it because he's still at 30 health. I think that's probably going to be the best play. Keep that golem up at a 2/2 because, you know, eventually Lightning Storm has to come out. You'd expect it by now.
Well, we know we won't be seeing too many aggro decks based on what we've seen from the ladder, but but Lightning Storm's just too good to pass up.
All right, looks like he's going to end up clearing the board this turn, taking just a little bit of damage on Ek0p and a little bit of damage to himself with this axe hit.
Yeah, but you end with a taunt. You're up, what is that, 5 cards on your opponent?
And 5 cards plus Ek0p on the board.
Well, you got to consider the draw, but yeah.
That's, well, you know what? At least Trump has some life to play with. He can live for a little bit longer. The thing is, there's a Flame Tongue Totem in that hand, and Flame Tongue plus Ek0p is pretty good. But he still has that claw, so.
You only went with Cenarios. It's a bit weird.
He's just going to lose the 2 taunts.
Yeah.
But you know what? He didn't really have much else going on in his hand, so may as well gain some sort of position at least. Well,
I was kind of thinking of the rag here. I mean,
I like that play actually. Yeah, if he takes out both taunts and throws down the rag and just like a totem, I think that's a fantastic play.
I don't really understand this.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird for me, but well, I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. Right? This 4/4 has to die now. There's just no way.
He probably just doesn't want to get bursted down. So this is a really safe play. And thinking back, it's probably the best one just because he has so many cards in his hand. Playing safe is probably just the only way to do it.
Yeah, when you're at 12 health, why take that risk?
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't even have to play optimally having this much of a card advantage. But you know what? The card advantage can start to go back a little bit here for Trump. Because he does have that Ancient Glory. The thing is, there's no clean kill on this Sylvanas this turn.
It's not too bad. I mean, you give him a 5/2 with the hero ability. It's not terrible.
Well, still, I mean, that's a lot of damage incoming the next turn. It's something you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because you would have to attack into it with one armor. So.
What other option do you have? You already used the Tink.
So I mean, he'll just be in the low teens, basically.
You have one card in your deck that deals with that. So drawing it, you can't even play it this turn.
It does. It looks like he has to do that. Yeah, no, he should be attacking in using that hero power. In the next turn, I guess he can just use Claw to get rid of it, and that's about the best he can do. Scenario's going to be a traitor.
Do you Sylvanas or draw some? I feel the options in your hand are pretty limited. I think you do have to Ancient of Lore here.
Probably, yeah.
Even though Sylvanas is a bit of a stronger presence.
And the thing is that Ancient of Lore is just going to be traded out with the Scenarios, most likely.
Yep. But even still, I mean, Ancient Lore gives you 2 cards, so it's not like you really lost much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all kind of a wash at the end of the day, but the thing is, having a wash against someone that's drawn so many cards this game already off of a Nat Pagel early on.
Man, just think, both swipes are down. Double spell damage. Swipes one of those cards, you get the spell damage, and
it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Fireball plus Flame Strike.
All right, so...
Well, he's going to make the safe play. So what's the safe play? It's probably to trade out
Rag, maybe?
Rag and probably just Totem. If you can get a taunt on top of it, it might be super annoying because you know the Druid is down to those cards that deal with the big stuff.
I don't know why he's even holding that Tink right now. If he played Tink, that would like unbelievably surprise me. There's no way.
It's coming.
Is he? I mean, that doesn't even make sense, right? Like, there's going to be better things to Tink later on, for sure, than this thing that might just stay exactly the same but look cooler. I think
my only thought is that if he plays Rag and he runs into Faceless, it might go really badly for him.
That's true. Faceless is a pretty scary card that's in a lot of these control decks right now, and in fact, Trump does have one.
Yeah.
All right, well, the squirrel. Okay, well, I guess he's good. Wow.
Yeah, you go with the Totem, cast it anyway.
May as well.
Gets a spell damage.
And then he can just attack easily for a ton of damage right here. What is that? That's 11? And that puts him on a one-turn clock.
I don't know. I like to kill squirrels, personally. I don't like seeing a creature on my board.
I mean... It's just a squirrel, man.
Nah, it's...
Is he gonna buff it up? Like,
he's ready to pounce if you see the posture there. Yeah, that thing's going down.
All right. He agreed with you. Time to get rid of that. Okay. You know what would be nice right now is that spell damage swipe. That would be a pretty good play at this moment.
I'd favor like a mind control tech or two, you know?
Yeah, that could be pretty nice if he played it. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Well, without swipe facing a board like that, you need to dig really fast for Starfall.
Well, he does have that Azure, and if he draws Starfall immediately, then he's all set.
Yep.
Other than that, though, his hand is not looking at.
He's actually not facing lethal, is he? Because he can armor up.
Well, ooh, that's actually very nice because of that Cenarius right now.
Yeah. It's all right.
Well, at least getting rid of something. And now he can claw, but what do you even kill? Because that totem, you can't get rid of it. So that's a kind of a pain in the ass.
I feel like clawing the now 4/2, which should have been clawed before.
Oh yeah.
Is pretty good because then he can't kill your 4/4 straight up. But I mean, you might need the claw to kill the totem next turn.
Well, maybe you'll get the Argus then, because he does need to prevent as much damage as possible, being so low in life.
I guess.
All right. Well, there is a Lightning Storm out with 2 spell power. That's pretty nice. He does have that Earth Shock with 2 spell power.
Well, Lightning Storm is a guaranteed kill on the board.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I guess he wants to rag then. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a rag turn for him, and that's going to be 5 plus rag, barely not enough to kill.
Yeah. He could chance it though. He could. No, not anymore.
No.
He had to attack face. If he attacked face, killed the 4/2, I think he would have had lethal or kill the creature.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty common play.
One of the best ways to go about it, I would say. And here we go, going down to just 1 health. Is there anything Trump can do here? I don't think so, right? No, that's... He could hit his own Blood Mage. Thing is, I don't think that he'll have enough mana to clear the board no matter what he draws.
He can... Let's see. Yeah, I think he can. I think he can Wrath the 0/3, attack the 1/1, and then play a creature and hope Rag hits it.
Okay, okay. Yes, he can do that.
There is a way out.
You are correct. There's a way to live 1 more turn before you get killed.
Well, we do see that card in the deck.
Yes, that's true. There is one very special card in this deck that could...
That discards all the special cards that you have when you play it.
Well, that means he better start playing these cards out now and get as much value as possible.
Looks like he is deciding to prolong the match another turn.
Why not? I mean, when you're playing that card, that very special Deathwing, it's for those poor people at home that are not watching us smile at each other while we say this. That could be big.
Yep. You got the Blood Mage and the Yeti and the attack on the 1/1. Or the Sylvanas and the attack on the 1/1.
I think you have to put out the 2 minions. It just... I mean, I guess, you know what, the Sylvanas, that's like a win play. That's like, I want to win.
If you're desperate,
looks
like he is.
50%, and then 50% on... So for 25%, he could possibly take over this Rag.
Well, I mean, you're going to play
Rock
a
Biter? I guess that's
actually it. 2 Rock Biters.
Yeah.
Looks like we have some threats going down. He's quite happy right now. He's looking for the most BM way to finish the game.
Yeah,
I believe that is it. I think this is... Well, no, you could pass the turn here after Rock Biting twice.
But the Rag will still hit him.
Exactly. That would be the most BM way.
Yeah.
So I think it shows the second mess.
There you go.
Give him some mercy.
You're certainly right about that. Okay, so Ek0p takes game number 2 with his Shaman deck. It was a pretty close one. You know, he got so far ahead early on.
It was that Pagel, man.
That Pagel. Pagel in control, especially against Druid, but in control versus control overall, if you draw 2-3 cards off him, he's just like stupid.
He, I think Trump could have prevented at least one of the draws with what we suggested with the swipe play. But, you know, we saw that the win was at least 1 card extra.
Yeah.
So, actually it was 2 cards actually. He didn't even need the Rock Biters. So the win was pretty big when it came down to the end.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead, jump to a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and figure out exactly what he's going to choose.
Stay tuned for more Fight Night. We hope you prepared for more Fight Night.
All right, Ek0p. Here we go. It's going to be starting just momentarily. Shaman against Shaman.
Got the mirror.
It's always fun for these mirrors.
Looks
this could be a
pretty
long
interesting.
one.
It looks like Trump's is a little bit slower when you look on the high end of the cards.
You know what? This has so much removal as well. If you look at it, like he plays the double lightning storms. He even has a forked lightning in here, a couple lightning bolts, two Stormforge axe. He's gonna own the early game.
I'm a pretty big fan of the double Stormforge. I know some people play one just because they think if they draw both, they might just lose. But yeah, I don't agree with that. I think I like the odds of drawing into it just because it's so dominant in the early game.
That's actually, DogeHouse is pretty split on, is it 1 or is it 2 that you end up using? So it looks like the game is ready, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right in.
Let's do it.
Well, okay, so we were talking a little bit about which of these decks matches up better against the other one, and I have to tell you, I'm like kind of favoring slightly Ek0ps. And I know you were saying the late
I got my
game
money
looks,
on Trump.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just there's so much of this like early removal stuff.
Whoa, look at that hand.
Wow. Sick mulligan there. That was a hard one to decide, no doubt.
This is a bit better, but at the same time, you know, what kind of early game creatures is Shaman gonna run? Like, do you really need those cards?
They aren't needed at all, I would say. Like, I would.
Oh, apparently they are.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know what, this is a very nice opening hand because of that Nat Pagel.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, the
Turn 1
Pyromancers, he can put on some aggression as well.
Well,
Turn 1 Pagel, man. We'll see if it works out for him.
Flame Tongue is actually an excellent draw.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't see how the Pagel's dying immediately. And
it's not.
In general, the main answer would be Earthshock, I'd imagine.
Yeah. If he had an Earthshock, that would be perfect.
It's not that big of a risk to just drop it. Get the card.
He went fishing, man, and he caught a fish. So there you have it. Already at a lead is Trump.
Man, they need to nerf this card. It's just in every deck. It's just so overpowered that you go fishing.
I know, right? You would,
like
with
0-4.
a game with all dragons in it and stuff, you wouldn't think that that's the case, but it is.
Wild Pyro.
This is a good start for Trump so far. And 2
another
draws.
fish.
Oh my God. You know, in a game like this, if I'm sitting in Ek0p seat, I'm already getting a defeatist mindset where I'm like, oh, I don't know about this.
Well, I think the best play here is you don't really want to use the Lightning Bolt because you want to have it for the Unbound. So I believe you have the Flame Tongue plus Rock Biter into the Pagel.
Yeah.
And the Totem protects the Totem and kills the Pyro.
Oh, it looks like he...
Oh, it doesn't matter what you Rock Biter.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently it does.
Okay. I guess he's just going to leave that Pagel. And I guess he's going to give him another chance at drawing a card. Now, if that draws a card, he's going to feel very sad about that. But at least he protects his board.
He's trading his protected Flame Tongue, I guess, the protection of the Flame Tongue, for half a draw.
Yeah. And
I don't know if it's that clear of a play, but you can't really blame him for it. I think it's fair, nonetheless. In Trump's position, he has more options, as it turns out. Pagel has delivered some for him.
Yeah, he has plenty of stuff to choose from here. And by taking out this totem, Ek0p once again is in a situation where the Pagel is gaining more value.
Yeah, but he has another card to use. Oh, no value that time. Right now he's got the Lightning Bolt. I think again he'll use it on the 3/2 though, just so he protects his totem.
Yeah, I think so. And this is going to bring him up, oh my God, a 5/5 already. Really, really nice. But there's so much removal in Trump's deck, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be able to take care of this pretty easily.
Right. Well, he can go for the Hex, but the problem is the Hex minion protects the Flame Tongue, so he's going to have to back it up with something else. And do you really fork the Lightning here? You're going to be -2 mana on 5, so you can Tink, but then the turn after you can Fire Elemental? It's not terrible.
Yeah. I don't actually like any of his plays this turn, to be honest. It's just not what you want for your turn.
I feel like with the card advantage and with Pagel still on the board, you're in that position where Ek0p was last game where you can be wasteful.
That's true. And, oh, the Taunt Totem. Not bad.
That works.
That's a nice pull right there. And in the meantime, Ek0p getting a little bit lower on cards due to no Pagel. And of course,
OP.
he still has absolutely no way to deal with this Pagel. Oh my God, he's just gonna be alive forever, man. This was a turn 1 Pagel.
I think it's going to end this turn, as a matter of fact. Yep.
Yeah. I'd be quite surprised if he didn't decide to kill off. Let's have it draw one more card, though.
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, at least there's some
done.
justice in this universe.
Nah, he deserved a few more cards, I feel. I mean, if you keep Pagel up that long, you've earned it.
Yeah. Now, wait, do you think, probably Karn Bloodhoof coming out, right?
Certainly.
The other thing I was, yeah, no, that does definitely seem best, because you don't really want to waste your Faceless Manip at this point. Save him for a bit later.
Huh? The problem here is, like, you got a 5/1, but then you still have the Totem, which is about as strong. It's essentially a 4/3.
Might go ahead and, yeah, hex this Karn Bloodhoof, and
Lightning
go ahead
Storm.
and basically clear the board.
Go
It's
for
just
the
that
RNG.
single Totem left.
Nope, RNG not delivered.
Oh well. Such is life. Ek0p, generally known
Such is
as
life.
The,
Wow.
the least lucky player. Yes. Can't get too mad at it, right? It's not always going to work out. Not everyone's
Here
niche.
comes the big game. It's coming.
Let's see.
I'm
It's past
hoping
turn.
to see it.
Trump.
Nope.
No. 5 mana here.
I feel like the Azure is not too bad. You might be able to get a pretty decent fork next turn.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice. And the thing is, there's a possibility he'll run into it. I don't think so, though. With an 8/5, you may as well just start attacking. Shaman just has so little life gain.
I mean, if you do Azure, you might even be able to clean up with Alakir.
Yeah.
Or the Fire Elemental. There's a lot of cleanup options. I think the Azure is pretty easy play. Just give him something to attack.
Certainly. Well, let's see what he draws off that as well. Oh, an Earth Shock. Okay, well, finally that totem should be going away pretty soon here.
We'll see.
Lightning Storm, he does have that Alakir out. The 8/5. The thing is, I'm sure you're looking at right now
yeah,
as
the Alakir Rockbiter combo.
Yeah.
Probably wants to save that. Well, he's got the flame.
Also, do you attack
Yeah.
for 8? Because then that sets up what's basically a kill.
Yeah, the Alakir is pretty strong here because you can kill the Drake from the Flame Tongue. You can deal 13.
God, that is a lot of damage right there.
Just easily lethal here. You have to attack just to anticipate a Hex.
So here we're going to have to see a Hex, and we're going to have to see, well, he has Forked Lightning in his hand still. He has the Earth Shock as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
I
a few
think we heard
options
some
going on.
trash talk there. Hopefully that
yeah?
comes through pretty nice. As it stands, Trump is pretty bad spot right now. I don't know if he can get out of this one. The fork can kill the totem, but what else can it really do?
Well, he could Tink, right? And if he gets a 1/1, and he wait a minute. No, this is just so rough. Like, it looks like he's going to take at least 6 next turn to me.
Earth Shock the totem. Forked Lightning, and then Fire Elemental it.
Well, which one do you get? I guess you get rid of the 3/3 Alakir, of course, but still, that's 6 more damage incoming, bringing him down to 6.
Well, it was a way out, and it was pretty good to see. It was pretty difficult, in my opinion, to see. He's still not very well off right now.
No.
Ek0p's evened out on cards just because he had a much better board position. And I believe with the Azure, he'll be ahead, but I feel like you can really make a push here with what you have.
Yeah, I think attacking at this point isn't a bad thing when you have things like Rock Biters and you have Lightning Bolts.
He's possibly just searching for a finisher.
Well, we'll see if he wants to trade it or he wants to go for the face here a little bit.
I don't think he is trading.
Yeah, I would be pretty surprised about that, because the thing is, Trump is going to have to attack into his minions. He cannot obviously attack Ek0p here.
Go for the Hex? Wow. Well, you do have the Faceless. You can kill a Hex with a Lightning Storm next turn, so it's really quite fair.
Yeah. All right, so Alec here cannot be played, unfortunately. He's at 7 mana because of being locked out.
Well, I think...
You could always Fire Elemental.
Yeah, I think the game is over, though, because Trump is going to see Fire Elemental as clearly the best play, which it is. But we know what Ek0p has, and it's not gonna do it. Yeah, that unfolds. It's gonna be a Lightning Storm into Rockbiter, and the elements will in fact destroy Trump.
Oh wow, the bad manner coming out of Ek0p, of course. Well, you know what he should have done is actually Faceless the Frog if he wanted maximum bad manner, but good enough, I guess,
That's quite
for
imaginative.
Ek0p. Yeah. And he actually goes ahead and takes that game and takes the lead in the series 2-1, and that is going to bring us to Trump's last deck.
Yeah. Ek0p's pretty happy with himself here. I mean, if you win, you gotta be. And Trump is on the verge of still failing to win a round here.
Ooh, that would be a little bit brutal if that happens to the poor guy. But you know what? He's bringing out a warrior deck next. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but maybe he can come back.
I think the warrior is as fair as the shaman was. I think his plays are actually quite good that game. I think Pagel could have delivered a little bit more, but all in all, it was that pretty big tempo push that did it in for him. And yeah, it's pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, what is your prediction here? Does Ek0p just clean it up with the shaman, or will Trump fight back? He's been playing well.
Oh man, being down a game at this point is kind of rough. You got to win 2 to his 1. So statistically, you just can't root for it. I mean, there's no deck that does like 70%, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see in just a minute after this commercial break.
We'll be right back with Fight Night. Welcome back to Fight Night.
It looks like the game has started. Let's go ahead and see if this 10 legendary deck can take out this shaman.
Let's see these opening hands here.
All right.
Let's see if it keeps that hex.
That's fine.
I think typically you wouldn't.
Keep the hex?
Yeah. What do you think?
I would throw the hex back against warrior because
you usually expect the armor smith business, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a pretty big throw off here because we just saw the armor smith type deck from Strifecrow, and we see something completely different from Trump.
I love to see things like that amongst a team where there's a completely different deck of the same class because you're going to mulligan differently. You're going to expect the deck order to be different.
Yeah.
But good to see here.
Just saw Trump's hand there briefly. It looked quite good. He had some early game, which is kind of what you need as a shaman, just like a creature to start killing off those totems before they get out of control and make your weapons completely worthless.
Well, let's take a look. Yeah, it's a very solid hand. I think that this is going to be a very long game, Ek0p. I think it's going to be a very, very long game with lots of armor.
I thought the last game would be pretty long, but as it turns out, the tempo push from the shaman shortened it by many turns.
The thing is, there's so much removal in the warrior deck that I think like a tempo push is just not going to work out as well. You know, they just for early game they have far fewer minions to actually have out there. They don't really care. They're just trying to gain armor and cards.
Do you drop the creature? Because you know that the deck's running the Flame Tongue, you know it's running the Axes, you know it has the Lightning Bolts, you know it has a Rockbiter. So basically, if you play the Wild Pyro, you know it's dead immediately.
Yeah. I think here I dropped the Fiery War Axe and actually killed the totem. As crazy as that sounds, because otherwise it's just going to be picking away at your armor.
Well, Trump decides to play it greedy and leave the totem up.
All right. Well, fair enough. The thing is, how many totems is he going to allow to get out there? Maybe he's waiting to see if he draws one of his cleaves or something like that. Cleave not going to be the strongest card here. Oh wait, he does, yeah.
I think he's just going to let him build the board. He's got the pyro coin into slam or something like that. So that's kind of like a spell damage swipe.
Yeah.
So he can afford to give his opponent a few creatures, I think. The Argus play is pretty good here. Makes two pretty garbage creatures into Fiery War Axe eaters.
Exactly. We might actually see him wait for the Brawl as well, just because.
Yeah, that's a low amount of damage.
A little bit more to the board. He doesn't care about 5 damage. Like he can armor up and it'll be 3, and then we might even see another minion played out next turn. But no, with this attack, it shows us he's not saving up for Brawl
He
at
can
all.
he can do attack and then Pyro Cleave. But the problem is it prevents him from playing any spells the next few turns. I kind of like playing Slam personally. So you're dropping the Slam. You're gonna have to run the Pyro into something. I think that's a fair play, but I don't know. Like we know the Pyro is dead here anyway, so maybe that's what he was thinking as well.
He's never gonna really live through it, so that's fine. But I do like to use Slams as early as possible just to help cycle through that tech a little bit quicker. You might be seeing the Earthshock pop out. The thing is, the Earthshock, I don't know how useful that's going to be the later we get into this game. Like, he could silence the Karns.
I think a lot of warriors were actually running the Drakes, and I don't know if that's really phased out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was thinking about. But obviously, if the opponent had a Drake, he would have played it by now.
And the later we get into the game, the Drakes aren't going to be quite as powerful anyways, so. Looks like this game's slowing down a little bit. Once we start hitting turns 6, 7, 8, I think we're going to see a lot more aggression coming out of Trump, though.
Well, we're going to see Karen here. And a Faceless draw is pretty interesting.
God, the Faceless is going to be so good, whether it's on his own minions or Trump's minions here.
So what does Trump have? He has the Sylvanas. I don't believe he can kill it off by himself. What else can he really do? He can slam an attack, but that's not great. I don't like the Sylvanas against Karen personally, but there's just no good creature that you can play otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, if he does end up trying to kill it, he could like throw down the Flame Tongue and kill it off.
I think I would.
No, that would be bad actually. Never mind.
No, I think I would Flame Tongue and then Totem again, and then run Karen into it. Or get a 1/1.
Well, it's always nice to just turn her into a squirrel. You know, he paid 6 mana for it. May as well for 3 get a 2/2 against his 1/1.
Yeah.
Seems like a good card.
Looks like he's gonna go for the tempo push here. I think.
Yeah, this is actually pretty brutal.
Wow,
this is like
Taunt Totem. That's nice.
Wow. And more taunting coming out of Ek0p here. All right, so I mean, this is a very scary board position.
Certainly. Even if he brawls here, Karen's second form is going to survive along with another card, or Karen altogether, and either one of those is not so great considering Brawl is 5 mana. Well, I don't even know what the optimal thing here is.
Well, it's Karn, so he was always going to have a 4/5 out on this board afterwards. It just still has a Death Rattle.
I think
he could slam it in attack or something and get ready to kill it. Because I don't think there's a single silence in this deck, right?
I think there was the Tinkmaster.
Yeah, and well.
In fact, come to think of it, Karen is probably the hardest creature to deal with.
It is a pain, and
well, for what answers Trump has at least. Trump is running the double shield block, so his life total is fairly irrelevant. I feel like he can afford to take some damage. He's got a shield block in hand. He's got Elistraza. He doesn't need to react right away, and he might just use that factor.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty reasonable play there. You know, things can really switch around really quickly as well if he starts drawing something like an Inner Rage to go with this Gramash, because Shamans have a very hard time when they get low on life. There's just not a whole lot they can do for
Inner Rage with Gramash is 12, right?
Yeah.
So if you can, oh boy.
That's a pretty good play, I guess.
That's kind of why the Brawl was better to kill it, I believe. Oh, and a Taunts Totem.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're up against the Fiery War Axe, it's typically pretty good, in my opinion.
How do you even deal with this? I'm looking at this, and this is like so scary.
Well, you could like try to trip the network cable on the computer if you're Trump.
That could be his best play right now. 2 Karn Bloodhooves. Oh my God. Well, no, I keep looking at it. There's just nothing clean here at all. Like, he can use Pyros to start damaging some stuff and maybe use some executes. The thing is, there's going to be 2 4/5s most likely on the board. Well, he could get rid of 1 completely, but he's going to have to use so many cards to do it.
I feel like you have to set up for OTK. So how do you do that best? Elistraza?
Well, you would probably want to Alexstrasza him next turn, but oh wait, no, you have the coin this turn, so
you can do it this turn.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. Probably don't attack with the War Axe because you don't want him to randomly get the Taunt Totem again. So save the War Axe, perhaps?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a possible OTK, but the Alexstrasza, I think he can deal with reasonably well anyways. Looks like he wants to use the Wild Pyromancer.
I think we might see a double spell here. Just to kill the totem and possibly kill off a Cairn, I don't know.
He could, yeah, he could do like a slam here, which is going to draw him a card plus... Well, the slam doesn't make as much sense. The execute
you can do the execute, yeah.
And let's see what he gets.
Back.
Of course. Now he could attack the other one as well. This is so brutal. Oh, look at that. Not too bad.
Okay, goes for the control play. All right, I guess.
Well, he had to burn through a lot to get him down that far. And the thing is, look at that rag in that hand just sitting there waiting to come out.
Yeah, I mean, what does Ek0p have for a late game? I think he has like most of the big legendaries in hand right now.
Yeah, I guess he's still got that Alakir somewhere.
He's just missing the Alakir, but his hand doesn't really buff it very well, so even if he had it.
Decides to put out a couple taunts as well as Sylvanas. Still a ridiculously hard board to deal with for the Warrior deck.
Absolutely. Those taunts are just so annoying with Warrior because you're working off having charge cards, you're working off having weapons, and it's just really just a pain in the ass.
And this is kind of like a pretty gross situation. Like, he now gets the shield slam finally, after already he's used his shield block. He still has that execute, but yeah. He has that execute, but what does that really do for him here? He's like, well, I'm still taking the same amount of damage. Like, he could do something like shield slam with armor up on the Sylvanas into execute, but that is, that's
There's
no
just
fun.
nothing. There's basically nothing. I mean, you're also playing against the Shaman who hasn't used the Hex yet.
Oh God, you had to remind us of that. Yeah. What's the kill plan here for Trump? The OTK was a good idea, but first he has to clear the taunts. He has to get rid of the Sylvanas, of course.
Maybe you can Pagel coin Gromash and execute Gromash when he takes him. I'm not sure.
Oh, our monitor just went out. Someone should pause the games, probably.
Monitor's down.
Oh, there it is.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay.
We're back.
All right, so
for the shield slam execute play on Sylvanas, just so he doesn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, he had to get rid of her. Like, she can't stay out. And she deals the most damage. The thing is, if you kill Karn, he's still coming back.
Yeah.
His brother is, like, or his spirit, I don't know the WoW lore, but he's coming back for you.
It's still, like, so rough. Like, from Trump's position, he may be okay with that play. 2-for-1 with Sylvanas, not the worst. But he's still up against 2 taunts. He's still up against the Cairn in his initial form. And now is really when he's going to be just depressed about everything.
Yeah, I mean, he can remove this Pagel before he even draws a card, attack for 4. It's 12 damage this turn. And I don't know if Trump has the tools to actually do this anymore.
Well, Brawl would have to be it, but we know it's already been used. Oh, he drew the Tink. Maybe he can get another turn.
Well, he has the big game hunter as well. So if he gets a 1/1 into that, he could have a sick turn right now.
Big game, the Ragnaros, Tink the Karn.
And hope to God that it's a 1/1 squirrel. It literally has to be.
Does it?
And the thing is, he actually has 2 lightning bolts in hand as well. So I'm pretty sure there's absolutely no way that Trump can win this from here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, with 2
I always
lightning
like
bolts
to just analyze it from Trump's perspective and see what he's thinking, you know?
Yeah.
I think the big game probably is the right play. Just to survive the turn, but...
Well, what else could he do that would have a good chance? Like, he could heal himself up, I guess, and that would help him out. But if he heals himself out and everything just attacks him, that brings him into lethal range where either the Alexstrasza dies or he dies, and that's really no better than this turn. It's like the exact same.
Not exactly. Because you can Alistra's a coin armor, and that puts you ahead of that.
Ah, yes, it does. That's true. All right, well.
Nope.
Oh, and unfortunately for Trump, that's bad.
Well, it's not game over on board.
Yeah.
Because
of course
he's at 10. He's only taken 9. But there are options in Ek0p's hand. Oh, here comes the threats.
Oh God. Well, Ek0p trying to finish him off with some style here, I suppose.
Pretty good. I mean, when you lose the first game, it's really hard to take it back. I think.
Yeah.
I think in the.
It's only happened one time, I believe.
I think you made that happen.
Well, of course, yes.
And I think you made that happen against Trump.
Yes, indeed.
And now it happens again to Trump.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, here comes as BM as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You got the Earth Shock. There we go.
Destroying his own board before finishing off Trump, and that will do it. Ek0p taking the series 3-1 over his somewhat rival Trump, who again is having a hard time at Fight Night.
Well, I guess if you play enough, eventually you'll take a round, right?
Yeah.
I mean, statistically,
it's going to happen at some point. You know, it's too bad for Trump, but he does lose, and this puts DogeHouse up 2-0 right now.
Pretty bad spot for Liquid Value, but I mean, the games are somewhat independent, though not completely, because you know it is a team effort with the decks. So.
Well, I'd really like to see what Trump thinks about that loss, but first, let's throw it to a quick commercial break.
See you after the break for more Fight Night. Welcome back to Fight Night.
Trump, man, how's it going? Why can't you win one of these? What's going on?
It's pretty rough. I'd hoped to win, especially against Ek0p, but alas, the fates were not on my side.
Man, it feels pretty rough. I mean, you got so many people watching you. They're rooting for Trump. They're like, you can do it. You can beat the odds. And then that happens. I mean,
I didn't have to beat the odds. I was favored.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, what did you think about the Shaman versus Shaman matchup? I thought you had possibly the advantage, though I believe Artosis disagreed and said that the advantage was Ek0p. I thought the slower deck had somewhat of a better shot, but
I actually agree. I think I had the advantage, which is why I picked the Shaman. I purposely tried to play a deck which would outgreed the opponent, so I played a Shaman with even bigger stuff. It turns out that it's weak against like those. That Flame Tongue Totem was just a thorn in my side, though, and it ended up killing me, I believe.
The tempo play.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. We saw a lot of Pagels in the first game, but on the first few games actually. But it didn't really pay off so much in yours, I believe.
No, I think Pagel drew me a good amount of cards. It was fair.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the cards that I keep seeing, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. I think just seeing the fishes come in, and seeing the player that has all the fishes being much more relaxed about the game in general. You get to waste those cards, but man, what do you think you could? Do you think you could have played anything differently to take that match? There's so many tough calls, so many situations, just looking from both sides that I don't really know. Did you feel you had any pivotal points you could have done differently?
No, not many actually. The games played out and they were all fair and good. He played well, I played well. Turns out that I just didn't get an answer, and that's what's required. I mean, I got several answers, but not the answer. In game 2, notably, in the Shaman versus Shaman against that Flame Tongue Totem. I just had to deal 1 damage to it somehow. I couldn't find a way to do it. And that's the problem with this deck. It tries to outgreed, tries to ignore some threats, but that was just one threat I couldn't ignore.
Well, you gotta be greedy. You are the mayor of the value town, right?
Yep.
Well, that's how it is. Oh well, better luck next time.
Better luck next time. I'll get you next time, Ek0p.
So you did it. You beat Trump. How hard was it? Was it an accomplishment?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy?
Not even close. He got away for far too long. I finally was able to play him, and I beat him decisively.
Pretty good, pretty good. Now, you went 3-1 against Trump. In the last fight night, you actually went 3-1 against me. Which one was the sweetest victory for you?
Probably the one against you. It was like kind of more of an sense of an accomplishment because I went 0-3 against Monk before that.
Oh, I see.
And then I finally got my first win here at ESGN against you.
And against Trump, it was just expected?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so, well, business as usual for Ek0p then. Pretty good stuff.
Thanks a lot, Ek0p. Well, Dan, you just casted a series between Trump and Ek0p, and you gave your thoughts already, but I want to ask, are these two guys the guys you think that you guys can take out within you and Savage?
Maybe. I mean, I think Savages has a good chance of killing anybody. I think he's one of the best players out there, but who knows? These guys are both really strong, so whoever we get, it's still going to be a hard road.
All right, well, let's take it for a spin once again and find out who from Liquid Value will be playing next. Looks like it will be Koyuki. All right, so Koyuki will be playing next for Liquid Value. They're down 0-2. What's gonna happen in episode 3? Find out tomorrow night.
Thank you and good evening.